The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. All right, Adam, we'd like to start off the show with with walkout music from one of the teams.
Okay.
Usually I tell you the name of the song, and you have to tell me what the club is. This time I think you're going to know what the club is. So you're going to have to tell me the name of the song.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting.
And here it is. Sound familiar at all?
Oh, absolutely. I almost threw in we hate Tottenham there. Just getting to that point.
Yeah, that's the one they play at Chelsea. Can you tell me
That's
what
right.
the name of the song is?
The name of the song is Liquidator, if I remember.
Very good. Very good. And it's by Harry J. All-Stars. The Harry J. All-Stars.
That's right.
All right. I was hoping you'd know that. That would have been embarrassing if you did not.
Yeah, that would have been really embarrassing. It's kind of got the. And I know you like your music. There's there's a strong ska influence.
Without
Chelsea.
question. Yeah, it's
so
almost
you got-
full reggae. It's a very hip song to choose as your walkout music. It's like somebody up there was like, anybody can pick the Beatles. Let's
Exactly.
go the Harry J. All-Stars.
Well, that's who Chelsea is. That's who they are. That's good.
Well, who we are is Free Kicks. It's time for the show.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
So the weather's a little bit nicer in Chicago. We're opening our windows a little bit,
Yes.
like the transfer window, which has been open in January now. And boy, there's not much of a breeze, is there?
No, it's been kind of slow going. Lots of gossip, as they say, lots of chatter, but nothing big. I've got a feeling that there's going to be a couple of big ones before the window closes. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, let's talk about some of the moves that have been made. I wouldn't say any of these are major, although here's one. Kyle Walker has left Man
that's a big
City.
Yeah. He's obviously gone to AC Milan.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was his first choice, but he's definitely had enough of Manchester City, which is surprising. And maybe something in terms of he's kind of seeing the end of the line a little bit and trying to pick up a nice little payday at the end of the year. So, but interesting one.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about any unhappiness or problems with Pep or anything. I know he has had a couple of controversial things off the field going on.
Correct.
You think he just wants to get the heck out of the country?
Probably.
That might be it.
Yeah, probably just kind of he's had enough. Try and kind of at least go under the radar for a little bit. And maybe this also has an effect on maybe trying to still be part of the England setup too. So, he wasn't playing all the time. I mean, he was still obviously playing, but you know how Pep, he likes to rotate a lot. And obviously he's made quite a few moves to bring in some younger players.
Well, yeah, let's talk about some of those other players.
Another segue. I'm getting better at these segues.
You are.
I'm really good.
City has signed a couple of guys. They signed Eintracht Frankfurt forward Omar Marmoush, who actually, I think he was second in the league in scores in the Bundesliga, behind only Harry Kane.
Yeah, he looks like a handful. Oh my goodness, he looks really good.
Then there's the defender Victor Reis, or is it Rice?
I think it's Reese, actually. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm. And then from Lens, center back Kusanov which I think we talked about him last week, right?
Maybe briefly. Obviously, this was his first game. They kind of threw him in at centre back against Chelsea this past weekend. So there you go. Let's see how you do.
And it started a little rough.
Yes, but it got better. There's no question it got better. But that was a tough one for him. He made that mistake, and Chelsea were able to jump on it. But he found his footing a little bit later on. He's just a young player. He doesn't speak much English, according to Pep Guardiola. So I think it's kind of may take a little while, but he's going to be fine. He'll be fine.
Okay. Well, some of the other moves, we had Ipswich Town spent £20 million to get a winger from Aston Villa, Philogene. Then they also brought in a forward from Dortmund, Malen. So that was two big moves for Ipswich, which apparently is trying to stay in the league.
Yeah, I think they're trying to move in a forward direction there, trying to get some players in to try to kind of at least get them up the table a little bit. Don't know too much about these players, but we'll see. We'll see how they do.
Well, I know Malen is from Netherlands, so we've had some pretty good luck with the Dutch players in the Premier League, so we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
The next deal I saw was the Wolves brought in a defender from Reims, Emmanuel Agbadou.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's the other team. If you look at the standings now, I don't know if you've been following this, but the Wolves, they're not doing well. They're in definite danger of dropping.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're in the bottom three right now. Leicester City's actually ahead of them. They're definitely there. I mean, it's almost, you've got Ipswich, Wolverhampton, and Leicester kind of in that group, and then there's a little bit of a gap before Everton at 23.
Right.
Southampton is in big trouble, but, they've only got 6 points. So they've got a lot of work ahead of them. But, you could almost start seeing a little bit of a gap with these four teams. It could be 3 from this 4 right now.
Yeah, that's the way it's looking. The other team that's heading that direction is Tottenham. And they signed the goalkeeper from Prague, Kinski, and they threw him right in. And they lost to Leicester City 2-1. And, last week we talked about this. You thought that maybe that loss could be the death knell for the manager, but not yet.
Not yet. I think it's interesting, me following it a little bit. I think the biggest thing with Tottenham is that, and I think he's definitely going to probably stick around for a little while, in my opinion. I could be wrong. He could get fired tomorrow. Who knows? But I think it's partly because they just haven't invested in any players, really. And I think they've gone through a massive injury crisis, like a lot of teams have. And what's ended up happening is, without any kind of backup with players to bring in, that's led to some serious problems. And I think that's really the only reason why I think he's sticking around, because they've really only brought in, Solanke in the summer of significance. And obviously he's out injured. And so they've had so many players injured. I think they're trying to give him a little bit of, respite in that respect. But yeah, he's still got to win some games. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, they're still good enough to do it. I even saw statistically they're in the top 10 of the richest clubs in the world.
Really? Well, that stadium is a palace.
Exactly. So there's no way that they should be down there. It's just that's not right. So
that's interesting. So I mean, it's like, in your mind, what they're acknowledging is that it's their own fault for not giving him the tools that he needs.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they've acknowledged it.
Because that sounds very unlike an ownership.
I think that's kind of I believe that's part of the thought process, that I think we really haven't helped him much, so what are we going to do? We can't really just fire him. Plus, if they do fire him, just like many of these managers, they're going to have to pay him a lot. And so that's part of the issue. And so I think you could sense a little bit more frustration in his voice.
Yeah.
And, that was a big game for both managers because even Van Nistelrooy was under some pressure too because he hasn't been off to a great start either.
Right.
So for him to get that result was a big one. And, of course, the man of the match, your favorite player, Jamie Vardy.
Got the goal. That was nice.
Scored the big goal and then also tormented the crowd by showing the star that he has for winning the league. So, which Tottenham, I don't know if Tottenham's not won anything in 24 years. So there you go.
I think that's the first time you've mentioned that on the show.
Okay, yeah.
Well, there were a couple other moves, really kind of nothing big. Crystal Palace signed somebody, Brighton did too, but nothing huge. I wanted to talk about some of the big stories going on right now. One of them is the situation at Manchester United. The manager, Ruben, and Marcus Rashford are not even on speaking terms. I read the article about it. It said that the manager only speaks to Rashford when he's addressing the entire team.
Wow.
And then when he was asked about it, he said, I'd play my coaching staff over someone who doesn't give 100%.
Wow.
And yet he's still there.
Yeah. Well, the main reason is how much money he's making. That's the reason why he's still there. Because they can't just get rid of him. I think he's got another 2 or 3 years on his contract, and he's making over £300,000 on a weekly basis. So huge amounts of money. And that's part of the reason why a lot of teams are probably not keen to sign him as well, because they know they're going to have to pay him a big wage.
Right. And now in the Premier League, is there a deal like here in America where you can send cash along with a player? We promise to pay half of his salary if you take him off of our hands. Can you do that in the Premier League?
That's happened before. I believe that's what happened with Raheem Sterling because he's on a similar type of a contract with Chelsea.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of a half and half deal with Arsenal. So, that's probably something that maybe they're looking at. And I was just reading today that Rashford has met with Barcelona and Arsenal, as well as who was the other one? I think it was Juventus. So those were kind of the three teams that were kind of hovering around to see if that would be happening. So
it could still
happen. Find out.
Yeah,
it could still happen. I mean, I think the transfer window closes on Monday, so I think you're going to see probably some interesting moves here by Monday.
Okay. Villa also had a big game this past weekend. I watched that game, and I think Tyrone Mings getting hurt again. That's a big blow for that club.
Yeah,
it looks like a pretty serious injury.
Yeah, I wasn't able to see that, but I heard a little bit about it, and it's going to be a tough one, especially because he's getting a little bit older as well.
Yeah.
The older you get, it's just harder to kind of rebound after serious injuries, and he was out for a while before that too, so that makes it even more challenging.
Right.
Yeah, it makes it challenging.
It seems to me, like I'm just, having watched Villa for the last couple of years, that the extra burden of playing in Europe, I think, is starting to affect them. You can see that they're sliding slowly down the table. They're kind of a mid-table team right now.
Yeah, it takes a lot out of the teams. You saw that with Newcastle a couple of years ago when they were in the Champions League. They kind of had a rough season. It's just massively challenging for the teams. And I know this is going to go out on Friday, but today is a massive day in the Champions League.
Right.
So, we're talking about this on Wednesday. This is like the last day of the Premier League on steroids because every game, they've got 18 games today, all starting at 2:00.
Yeah.
And that's our time, 8:00 in Britain. But it's going to be awesome. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to watch this, how I'm going to look at this, but I'll try and put it on in the office and kind of see what I can follow.
Well, I looked at the Liverpool lineup today, and they're resting everybody. I mean, they don't need to. Doesn't matter if they win or lose. So because they're into the next, they're number one in the league right now.
The big one is Manchester City.
Yes.
Because they have to win. They play Bruges, but if they don't win, they are out.
Right.
That's just to get into the playoffs, into the knockout round. So yeah,
right. Well, we'll do a big Champions League thing next week because we'll know 100%, and we'll probably have the drawing for the next round.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
The other team I wanted to talk about this week is Bournemouth. We talked about them a little bit last week, but this team is for real. They crushed Nottingham Forest this past weekend, and Forest is not a pushover team.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was shocked with the results, but also not shocked in terms of how they're playing, because arguably, and I don't want to give too much away for my TV tip, but
I know what you're going to say. I was looking at it.
This is going to be a game that could really kind of set them apart. Are they contenders? Are they pretenders?
Right.
This will definitely give us an idea of how good they are. So my plan is definitely to try and watch this game in between my commitments, but this will be a really good one for them coming up. But ultimately, they've just got good balance. They've got an American player that looks fantastic. He's one of I truly think he is along with Pulisic, the best American player we have in Tyler Adams. When he's fit, he can run the show. Had a couple of assists in the last game as well. So he's just great. And they've got a solid defense. They've got Chelsea's goalkeeper in there on loan, doing well. Semenyo up top is just a hand. Well, yeah, it's just they're just really, really good. They've got great balance, and it's exciting to see a team do so well. And as we mentioned last week, there's only 11,000 people that come in, so it can be done. It can be done.
Well, yeah, they are the little team that could. That's the way I look at it. All right, so that's the news. There's been a lot of news this week, so I just wanted to go over it. I also wanted to give you my weird stat of the week. And I was just wondering, I saw a player, I won't mention his name, go down many times with fouls, being fouled over the weekend. And I was like, come on. I decided to check which team or which players are the most fouled players.
Okay.
All right. And I'll give you the top 5, and then you can see if you can guess who number 1 is. All right. Number 5 is Cunha from Wolves. He's been fouled 43 times already this year. Maddison from Tottenham is 4th. He might be the one I'm talking about. Cole Palmer from Chelsea is 3rd. He's been fouled 47 times. Anthony Gordon from Newcastle, 48 times. But with 77 fouls, he's been fouled 77 times, nearly 30 more than the second place person in the league. Who is the number 1 most fouled player in the Premier League?
I think, and maybe does he play for Liverpool?
He does not.
I was gonna go with Mo Salah, but
he's not in the top 5.
Not even in the top 5. That's interesting. It's a tough one. It's got to be a forward.
It's actually not. I don't think. I wouldn't call him a forward.
Midfielder.
Yeah.
Well, the other person that's not in there, but again, I'm not sure if he plays as much to get these stats. Jack Grealish was getting fouled a lot.
Yeah, Jack Grealish would be winning this without question if he played more. Yeah,
because he always got. Yeah, I think if he played, because he always seems to get fouled and flopped and what have you. So.
Yeah.
So
it's a Newcastle player. It's a Newcastle player.
Okay, so probably I would say Isaac, probably.
Nope, it's Bruno.
Really?
Yeah. Number 1 by a long shot, the most fouled player in the league.
Interesting.
I don't watch Newcastle enough to know that he's a flopper, but I mean, I'm sure they were all 77 legitimate fouls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Every single one of them. But yeah, I mean, he's on the ball a lot. He plays every minute of the game. Makes sense.
It does.
It makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975 and has a strong history of credibility. Illinois Youth Soccer is a nonprofit corporation, official state association and charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, U.S. Soccer Federation Olympic Development Program, and the U.S. Soccer Federation referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org.
And do you want to share some of your news that you're...
Yeah, so
wait.
Yeah, go ahead. Need some music.
And now, the latest Chicago area soccer news. Soccer news. With Coach Adam. Coach Adam.
Yes, now you can do it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, lots of things going on. We've been very busy with our ODP programs. Had some games in Indianapolis this past weekend against Kentucky and Indiana. And some teams also played against Wisconsin. Extremely competitive games, did very well. And and then last week was the girls. They had their interregional, so we had some coaches coaching the Midwest teams. I'm lucky enough to coach one of the Midwest boys teams as well. So it's going to be a rough weekend for me, spending some time in Florida. But I'll deal with it as best as I can and make sure I send you a picture, Rick, of my feet in the swimming pool, relaxing. So hopefully you'll be good. But yeah, we're looking forward to some games against other regions, and then we'll see how things go. And then from a coaching standpoint, education, wrapping up our D license. So those guys did such a super job. Got some grassroots courses that are opening up at the end of February if people are interested. Working on a couple of others here in early March as well. So lots of things going on with Illinois Youth Soccer.
Okay, it's time for your favorite part of the show.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
Okay, I decided to take a player off of a team that we don't talk about a lot. The team, meaning.
Yeah.
So this week's player is 24 years old.
Okay.
And he wears number 10. And he's an attacking midfielder. But he does play on a team that we don't talk about a lot. Okay.
All right, I'm just going to throw it out there.
Oh.
Going to guess it. Ryan Christie.
No. Ooh, that's a good one. I was thinking about doing him.
Yeah, Brentford. I saw the connection. I thought,
it was a good thought. Nope. This is his second Premier League club that he's playing for right now. He previously played for a team that is no longer in the top flight. Okay. And he only very briefly played for them.
Okay.
He has also played professionally in his home country, which isn't England. He was born in France, and that's where he played professionally. But he plays for another national team in Africa.
Okay, gotcha. African player, number 10.
He scores some goals. He has 7 goals this season in all competitions.
Yeah, and I think I know where I'm going with this. I think I remember. He's a player that I've been watching a little bit closer. Is he from Senegal?
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, this is an interesting one because I keep on looking at adding it into my fantasy football team, but I keep forgetting to do it. And every time I see him, I just think he's really, really good. So hopefully I say this correctly.
Yeah, I'm going to let you.
It's Iliman Njay from Everton.
Yes, that's right. That's right. His manager just coached his 700th game last weekend, David Moyes, and our star of the week scored the goal.
Yeah. He's a good one. I mean, if you watch him, he's got the moves. He's like a little jinky guy on the outside at times. He'll drift in, drift out. He's just really good on the ball. I mean, It's amazing. It's interesting because I was looking at something. He played for a non-league team for a few years as a youth player in England called Boreham Wood.
Oh, yeah. I remember them in the FA Cup a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So, funny enough, I went to the Everton Boreham Wood game in the FA Cup a few years ago because I was there in England, and I went to see him. He wasn't playing for them at that time. I think he was in Marseille or something, wherever he was playing. Yeah. But so I was just like, and when I was looking him up, I was like, man, I didn't realize he played non-league, because it's not he's born in France, spent most of his time in French teams, and then Boreham Wood.
Yeah, right.
What's kind of an interesting one, but Everton have got a good one. They got him from Marseille. He's really, really a good player. I think he's going to probably force his way into if Senegal has a good World Cup qualifier. I think you're going to see him in the World Cup for sure.
Yeah. He's already on the national team, so I'm sure he'll be in there. All right, it's time for this.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
And I think we know where you're going to go with this one, but why don't you lay it on us anyway?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's two good ones. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I think we've got to watch both of these, because I think both of them have massive implications in terms of the league. But I think Saturday, just because I know we talked about them and they're in good form, they're currently in 7th spot, I think, in the table. But they're right there with Chelsea and Newcastle and Manchester City. I think if you haven't watched much of them, I think you need to watch them. It's going to be Bournemouth versus Liverpool at Bournemouth Stadium at the 11,000 Dean Court. I believe that's what it's still called. It may have changed its name, but 11,000 people at that stadium. So that's going to be a rocking place. That's going to be a good one. Saturday morning at 9:00.
Okay.
And then that's on. Probably going to be on NBC, possibly USA. But and then Sunday, I think we have to put. Even though this is still a big game, and we probably would have talked about this being the biggest one of the weekend, it probably still is theoretically. I think we still have to tune in. That's going to be Sunday. Arsenal at home against Manchester City should be a good one as well. So, two really good games. But definitely make a point, if you can, of watching Bournemouth-Liverpool, because I think the way Bournemouth's playing, it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, they definitely have a shot to knock them off. And then that would make all those other teams you mentioned very happy, because Liverpool is slowly but surely pulling away with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Free Kicks is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club in Mount Prospect, Illinois. Check them out at greenwhitesoccer.org. They've got teams from U7 all the way up to over 50. I think actually not U7, U8. Over 50. Yeah. But check it out at greenwhitesoccer.org. All right, I think next week we do a big Champions League thing. We should have the draw. We should have all the information for what's going on in the Champions League, so be sure to tune in for that. And we have people we need to thank for this week's show. I thank Tony Lasano with Opie Shows. He's the executive producer of the show. Also, Ed Silla with the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place, the RadioMisfits.com. And we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of Free Kicks.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at RadioMisfits.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?